concerns you with this France side, Frank? It's obviously all positive so far from you, it seems. What would be your worry going forward? What areas?
Two areas, in fact. The first one will be the centre-backs, because Upamecano and Saliba don't know each other very well. Yeah, Saliba had a good game, but the first chance was for Austria when there was a cross from Sabitzer, I think, and Saliba and Upamecano almost knocked each other, and it was a big chance for Austria before Maignan saved it. That's something at that level you cannot afford. And the other one is at front, because the talent is so there that sometimes every one of them wants to be the saver, that they don't see the better option that they have next to them. And many times I saw Griezmann not serving. One time, I think it was Dembélé on the right side, the first half. Of course, Mbappe does that a lot when he forgets his teammates. But also Thuram, I saw Thuram once or twice, trying to shoot where he could have crossed the ball. So if they don't think that somebody else is in a better position, they might struggle, because if they don't score, they're going to upset the other, annoy the other, and it might be an issue for the spirit of the squad.
Any issues that stood out to you?
Not really, no. No, I thought Giroud had an impact when he come on. He's very reliable. He got a bad bobble, in my opinion, when he should have scored. But I just look at the French side and I think they've got confidence. But I think the opposition really tested them today. Go back to how good Austria were and the way Ralf Rangnick set his team up to stop France from playing. That's an example to anyone, and again, full circle Scotland. That's an example how you can try and stop an opposition if you try and get in their faces and be aggressive and make tackles and running around, and Austria are really good. So the French today had to problem solve. They had to get the job done. They got lucky with the own goal, but they created enough chances. And I think what you'll see in the coming games when they get confident and score goals, I think the biggest issue, obviously, is when you look at the injury to Mbappe, will he be sort of match fit for the next game? Will they risk starting them? It's obviously one of them where you go, don't be crazy. Of course, you've got to play him, but at the same time, you've got to try and manage the injury because it's quite delicate.
Yeah, I don't think they'll need to risk him, will they? I mean, you play with a broken nose. But in terms of the broken nose, you could, I suppose in the group stages, you could leave him out. Wouldn't be much harm done, I wouldn't imagine. Not within the group that they're in. So, look, it's part and parcel. We're not wrapping players in cotton wool here. Players break their legs, players rupture their cruciates, players get concussed, players break their nose. It's an occupational hazard. He gets injured, it was a bad one, there was blood, you move on. It's a contact sport. And he has to deal with that. And the French have to deal with it, and they will. They've got players for every position. Yeah. So he's got options, and Frank said that, and sometimes it's a problem, but because you think, should I go this way with Tchouameni? Should I go with Camavinga? Should I play him? And should I play this centre-back, that centre-back? But in that sense, he's got some thinking to do, but that's a good problem to have. So, as I said, the French, I was surprised. I thought Austria gave them a run for the money for a long period. Don't forget, Don said it was an own goal. Baumgartner should have scored with a lovely touch from Sabitzer.
It's actually a bad finish.
Look, it was a terrible finish. The referee gave a goal kick as well, and it was a clear save from Maignan. So the Austrians gave them some problems, or enough to think about there. It wasn't a cakewalk for France, but it was a very good exercise for them, apart from, obviously, Griezmann got a little bit of a cut in his head when he bashed into the advertising holdings, and obviously the big one was Mbappe, but that's not going to rule you out a European Championship. It's not going to put you off a broken nose, no chance.
So you brought it up earlier, like among the favourites. So now we've been able to see Spain, we've been able to see Germany, England and France. When you've seen them all there, what's your assessment so far, Frank? Who's your favourite of those four?
Yeah, as I said last time I was in the show, I had to wait for England, to see England and to see France. Well, I want to see Portugal as well, because I always put Portugal as one of the contenders. But so far, from what I saw, as Craig mentioned, I think Germany were the best, but the opposition wasn't at the top. And I'm sorry, Don and Craig, to say that. But that's the reality of it. I think Germany seems to be very accurate on what they've done and know each other very well, and they increased their game since they played against France, that they won away from home in a friendly game. And after, I would say France is nearby. They're just warming up. I think players going to come back and going to get better because you have many injuries like Menia, like Rabiot. They just came back from injury, so they have to get feedback. I don't even talk about Tchouaméni. So I think they're just warming up. I think the only concern that I have is about England. I mean, yeah, they won, but the second half that was so poor, and the options are not, as Craig mentioned, the options that they have are not huge. And that's my concern about England. So, but I still think that they can wake up and do better than that. They can do worse than that anyway, because with the talent that they have to react.
England were the worst out of the lot. I know people will be watching this going, well, you would say that, but no. I give credit to England where credit's due. They have some terrific players, and that's the problem I've got with playing the way that they played for an hour or whatever. It's certainly 45 minutes. I am intrigued to watch Portugal.
Yeah.
I am. No, not just for Cristiano Ronaldo, but because Roberto Martinez is, I think, damn lucky to be in that job after,
he's got some agent.
After what he did with Belgium. Any man that goes to the World Cup, plays Eden Hazard, captains him when he can barely lift a leg, you know, you should be taken away in a white van, really. So he walks out of that shambles, and they were a shambles, and he walks into this Portugal, so gets the job.
I think he nearly walked into the Barca job at one point.
They have an immensely talented group of players going forward in particular. They've got some good defenders, but they've also got some old defenders like Pepe. And I suppose the Ronaldo scenario is intriguing because this guy is a machine, isn't it? I mean, just a machine, just keeps soldiering on, want to play for his country, want to still play for every club, and he's playing in Saudi Arabia now, still scoring goals. And Portugal have battered all and sundry, whether it be the qualifiers for this or the friendlies that they've played. They've scored an immense amount of goals. Right? A lot of them have been against weaker opposition. Right, they've sort of padded their stats a little bit there. But let's see, Frank, if Portugal can really do it under Roberto Martinez on this big stage, because they've got some really, out with Ronaldo, they've got some really good players.
Well, the only thing, my concern is, if Ronaldo is at the top of the top, and when they use him, because they're going to use him, because he attracts attention. So he attracts the other player. So they will have to play with him. If he's efficient and he scores, Portugal can go very, very far. The problem is, if Ronaldo is not at the top of the top, but they give him the ball, he doesn't score, he gets upset and everything, that can become a problem. And then people are going to get frustrated. I mean, players are going to be frustrated. Ronaldo is going to be frustrated and upset as well. So, and it's there that you can have problems inside the squad, and they cannot get their dream. Otherwise, if everything's perfect, again, if Ronaldo is good, they can win it, for sure.